Imagine a plant that towers over its neighbors, its sturdy stems reaching for the sky. This is Joe-pye weed, a gentle giant with a heart of gold. Named after a Native American healer, Joe-pye weed, also known as Eutrochium spp, is not a weed at all, but a stunning wildflower native to North America. This plant brings life and beauty to any garden, attracting a symphony of buzzing bees, fluttering butterflies, and other fascinating creatures. Joe-pye weed is a beacon of hope for our struggling pollinators. In a world where habitat loss and pesticide use threaten these vital insects, Joe-pye weed provides a much-needed source of nectar and pollen, but its generosity doesn't stop there. This plant also offers food and shelter to other wildlife, creating a thriving ecosystem within your own backyard. Join me as we delve into the wonders of Joe-pye weed and discover why it deserves a place of honor in your garden. Joe-pye weed is a showstopper in the garden, commanding attention with its impressive stature and vibrant blooms. Reaching heights of 5 to 12 feet depending on the variety, Joe-pye weed adds vertical interest and a touch of wildness to any landscape. Its sturdy stems, often tinged with purple, are crowned with large, dome-shaped flower heads that burst forth in a profusion of tiny, fragrant blossoms. From midsummer to early fall, these blooms transform the garden into a sea of pink, lavender, or even white, depending on the cultivar. The flowers themselves are a sight to behold. Each tiny blossom is a work of art, with delicate petals surrounding a central disc filled with nectar and pollen. These intricate blooms attract a wide array of pollinators, their buzzing and fluttering a testament to the plant's irresistible allure. But Joe-pye weed's beauty extends beyond its flowers. Its large, lance-shaped leaves, arranged in whorls around the stem, add a touch of elegance to the garden. These lush green leaves provide a striking backdrop for the vibrant blooms, creating a tapestry of color and texture that is both captivating and serene. Joe-pye weed is a pollinator magnet, its nectar-rich blooms drawing in a diverse cast of beneficial insects. Bees, butterflies, moths, and even hummingbirds flock to this plant, their buzzing and fluttering a symphony of life in the garden. Honeybees, bumblebees, and other native bees rely on Joe-pye weed as a source of nectar and pollen, essential for their survival. These industrious insects play a crucial role in our ecosystem, pollinating crops and other plants that provide us with food and beauty. Butterflies, with their delicate wings and graceful flight, are also drawn to Joe-pye weed's sweet nectar. Monarchs, swallowtails, and other butterflies flit from flower to flower, their presence adding a touch of magic to the garden. Moths, often overlooked but equally important pollinators, are also attracted to Joe-pye weed's fragrant blooms. These nocturnal creatures emerge at dusk, their wings shimmering in the moonlight as they sip nectar and pollinate the flowers. By providing a haven for pollinators, Joe-pye weed helps to support a healthy and diverse ecosystem. These insects play a vital role in our environment, and their decline in recent years is a cause for concern. By planting Joe-pye weed and other pollinator-friendly plants, we can help to reverse this trend and ensure that these vital creatures continue to thrive. Joe-pye weed's generosity extends beyond pollinators, offering food and shelter to a variety of other wildlife. Birds, particularly goldfinches and other seed-eating species, are drawn to the plant's seed heads in the fall. As the flowers fade, they are replaced by clusters of small brown seeds that provide a valuable source of nourishment for birds preparing for winter. The plant's sturdy stems also offer support for bird nests, providing a safe haven for raising their young. In addition to birds, Joe-pye weed also attracts beneficial insects that help to control garden pests. Ladybugs, lacewings, and other predatory insects feed on aphids, mites, and other soft-bodied insects that can damage plants. By attracting these beneficial insects, Joe-pye weed helps to create a balanced ecosystem in the garden, reducing the need for pesticides and other harmful chemicals. This makes it an ideal choice for gardeners looking to create a more sustainable and eco-friendly landscape. Section 5. Cultivating Joe-pye weed, a step-by-step guide. Growing Joe-pye weed from seed is a rewarding experience, allowing you to witness the plant's life cycle from tiny seed to towering beauty. Here's a step-by-step guide to get you started. Section 6. Seed selection and starting. Begin by selecting high-quality Joe-pye weed seeds from a reputable seed company or nursery. Look for seeds that are fresh and viable, ensuring a higher germination rate. You can start seeds indoors 6 to 8 weeks before the last expected frost in your area. Fill seed trays or pots with a well-draining seed starting mix. Moisten the mix evenly and sow the seeds on the surface, pressing them gently into the soil. Joe-pye weed seeds need light to germinate, so do not cover them with soil. Place the seed trays or pots in a warm, bright location, out of direct sunlight. Keep the soil consistently moist, but not waterlogged. Germination typically takes 14 to 21 days, but it can vary depending on the variety and growing conditions. Section 7. Transplanting seedlings. Once the seedlings have developed 2 sets of true leaves, they are ready to be transplanted outdoors. Choose a location in your garden that receives full sun to partial shade and has well-drained soil. Joe-pye weed prefers moist soil but can tolerate some drought once established. Prepare the planting site by removing any weeds or grass and loosening the soil to a depth of 12 to 15 inches. Dig holes that are slightly larger than the root balls of the seedlings and space them 2 to 3 feet apart. Carefully remove the seedlings from their containers, gently loosening any roots that are circling around the edges. Place the seedlings in the holes, making sure the top of the root ball is level with the surrounding soil. Backfill the holes with soil, gently firming it around the base of the seedlings. Water the seedlings thoroughly after planting to help them establish themselves in their new home. Section 8. Caring for your Joe-pye weed. Joe-pye weed is a relatively low-maintenance plant once established, but it does benefit from regular care and attention. Here are a few tips to keep your Joe-pye weed healthy and thriving. Water your Joe-pye weed regularly, especially during periods of drought. Aim to keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. Fertilizing. Joe-pye weed is not a heavy feeder but will benefit from a light application of balanced fertilizer in the spring. Avoid over-fertilizing, as this can lead to excessive foliage growth at the expense of flowers. Mulching. Apply a 2 to 3 inch layer of organic mulch around the base of your Joe-pye weed to help retain soil moisture, suppress weeds and moderate soil temperature. Staking sign. Taller varieties of Joe-pye weed may require staking to prevent flopping, especially in windy locations. Use sturdy stakes and soft ties to support the stems without damaging them. Deadhead spent flowers regularly to encourage more blooms and prevent self-seeding. You can also leave some flower heads intact in the fall to provide food for birds and add winter interest to the garden. Section 9. Designing with Joe-pye weed. Tips for your garden. Joe-pye weed's imposing stature and vibrant blooms make it a versatile plant for a variety of garden settings. Here are a few tips for incorporating this stunning wildflower into your landscape. Back of the border. Joe-pye weed's height makes it an ideal choice for the back of the border, where it can provide a dramatic backdrop for shorter plants. Pair it with other late-blooming perennials like asters, goldenrods and sunflowers for a vibrant fall display. In cottage gardens, Joe-pye weed's informal habit and profusion of blooms make it a natural fit for cottage gardens. Plant it alongside other cottage garden favorites like coneflowers, black-eyed Susans and phlox for a cheerful and carefree look. Rain gardens. Joe-pye weed's tolerance for moist soil makes it an excellent choice for rain gardens, which are designed to capture and filter rainwater runoff. Its deep roots help to absorb excess water, preventing erosion and improving drainage. Wildlife gardens. Joe-pye weed is a must-have for wildlife gardens, attracting a wide array of pollinators, birds and other beneficial creatures. Plant it in masses to create a wildlife haven in your own backyard. Section 10. Embrace the power of Joe-pye weed. Joe-pye weed is more than just a pretty face in the garden. It's a lifeline for pollinators, a food source for birds and a champion for biodiversity. By embracing this gentle giant, we can create gardens that are not only beautiful but also ecologically sound. Imagine a world where gardens are no longer sterile monocultures but teeming with life, where the buzz of bees and the flutter of butterflies are the norm, not the exception. By planting Joe-pye weed and other native plants, we can help to make this vision a reality. Section 11. A final word on Joe-pye weed. Joe-pye weed is a testament to the power of native plants. It's a plant that gives back to the environment in countless ways, supporting pollinators, providing food and shelter for wildlife, and adding beauty and interest to our gardens. As you plan your garden this year, I urge you to consider making room for this gentle giant. Your garden and the planet will thank you for it.